Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot, and we're back for some player props and spreads in the NBA for Sunday, March 21st. As you can see, I am not in my normal spot that I normally am in, but we still got some player props and spreads that I like for today. A couple quick recaps. Yesterday, another 3-3 day. Not much you can do about that. We had Lakers -4. And LeBron goes out in the first quarter, so that really never stood a chance. Ben Simmons ruled out before the game even tips off. But we're into some good props today, and I like the slate that we got going. If you are new here, click that like and subscribe button. Trying to hit 1,300 subscribers today. The growth has been insane. Thank you guys again for everything. So click that like and subscribe button. 2 quick notes. 1, I don't believe there will be a live stream today. But 2, join that Discord. The first link in the description. There were some people, and I'll name them. Reese had a killer day yesterday. I believe he went 14-7 in the Discord, and he always posts all of his picks in the Notes app. He chucks them up there, and 14-7, great record. And then Ronak, I believe, went 10-1 in the NBA for NBA player props, and then 2-1 in NCAA basketball. So insane record, 12-2 on the day. Go check out that Discord. Look at their picks for today. But let's get into mine. We got first one coming up. Player prop of the day, Luka Doncic over 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists versus the Trailblazers. When you look at Doncic, he has been an absolute monster lately. These are his PRA numbers. The last game was against Portland. He dropped 56 combined. Then the game before that, 57, and then 51. The matchup against the Blazers is about as good as it gets. They play super fast, and Luka is averaging 58 points, rebounds, and assists against the Blazers this year. Another high-scoring, close game, and I think Luka can easily hit this. 49.5 is about the highest you'll get on the slate, but we're locking it in, and you'll probably see Luka featured on the Longshot Parlay of the day because I think he can get a triple-double today. No doubt about it. Moving on, and we got 3 stat-padding studs as my player props of the day. We got Luka. Next one, Nikola Jokic, the MVP frontrunner, and for good reason, but LeBron goes down, and now Jokic is at +110. Not a surprise to see if he wins this award with everyone else being out. But, we're taking his over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Jokic needs this. He wants this MVP award, and he's been playing like an MVP lately with over 30 points per game in March. And sure, I just don't think the Pelicans have anyone that can guard him. Sure, they have Steven Adams, but he can't move and get outside on the perimeter. Jokic should have a lot of open shots, and I think that's what they'll do. They'll do the Jamal Murray and Jokic pick and roll. Steven Adams won't have a chance of guarding that. Jackson Hayes, who tries to block every single shot, will just fall on every single pump fake that Jokic does. His footwork's too well. Here's Jokic's PRA line this month. Last game, 58, 32 against the Bulls, and I believe a blowout, or the Spurs in a blowout. Then 51, 45, 50, 40, 58, 62. He's been absolutely killing it this month. Sure, a couple losses in there, maybe 2 or 3, but Jokic has been insane. Like I said, over 30 points per game. Wouldn't blame you for taking his over in just points, but we're going to rock with his points, rebounds, and assists line because I think he fills up the stat sheet against the Pelicans team that plays about as fast as anyone in the NBA. Lock in that pick. I'd also like Michael Porter Jr. We cashed on him a couple nights ago in his points and rebounds, which barely cashed by, I believe, half, but it's 25.5 tonight. Wouldn't mind playing that as well. Last game was kind of a stinker for MPJ. I think he fills it up again tonight. And the last player prop of the day before we get into some spreads, we're taking Russell Westbrook over 46.5 points, rebounds, and assists again. Westbrook's been playing out of his mind, and now he gets his matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. And if you don't know, the over-under is 245.5, and you'll see, maybe we take the over, and it's for good reason. The last time these two teams played on January 31st, Russell dropped 41 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. And, normally I'm on the Russell Westbrook rebounds and assists line tonight, but there's no reason necessarily for him to pass it too much. He can drive, get to the lane whenever he wants. Sure, they have DeAndre Jordan down there, but I'm not scared of him. Russell should be able to not only score a lot of points, pick up a lot of rebounds, and a lot of assists tonight, hence why we're taking the over 46.5. We got these 3 studs, Luka, Jokic, and Russell Westbrook, added tonight, and that's why we're locking in all of them as my player props of the day. Westbrook has scored 25-plus points in 3 of his past 4 games, and like I said, these are his PRA numbers in his last 4. 63, 50, 45, and 64. He's hitting over 60. If someone's hitting over 60 points, rebounds, and assists, I'm normally going to be taking their over just in the 46 region. Expect another big game out of Brody. Moving on, we'll just start with the Nets versus Wizards. I'm locking in the 245.5. Truthfully, I probably would have locked it in at 250, maybe even 260. You look at the last time these two teams played, final score 149 to 146. And so I'm sure you're thinking back, Austin, how many overtimes did they go to get to 149 to 146? Well, they went to no overtimes, and that's exactly how it works. The Nets don't play an ounce of defense, neither do the Wizards, so I don't really mind anyone's player prop in this game. I'd probably take every single over and just let it ride. Over 245.5 points. Jeez, yeah, there's no defense. I don't need any more numbers. They don't play a lot of defense. They play super fast. Just don't think twice. Take the over. You don't want to be betting an under in a Nets versus Wizards game. Let me tell you first. Moving on, and I know, and the complete opposite spectrum, the Knicks versus the Sixers. We're taking the under 215.5. Come on, man. These teams, sure, the Sixers just went off without Ben Simmons and scored a ton of points against I believe the Sacramento Kings, but that's the Kings, and you can score at will against them. This is the New York Knicks, under 215.5. The Knicks don't score points. These teams just played a couple nights ago, I believe on March 16th, and they combined for 195. They couldn't even break 200 points. Neither team broke 100, and it's simple as that. I mean, both teams should struggle to score points. Both teams play great defense, and even if Ben Simmons isn't there, then I'm still taking it. I don't care how many points they scored last night against the Kings. I still would trust that the Knicks and Sixers will get the job done and hit this under 215.5, the complete opposite of the game before, the Nets versus Wizards. And then we got two spreads that I really like today, and I know this one, and this is the final time I'm betting on this team, and if they lose, even outright, if they don't cover, then I'm out. Celtics -8 versus the Magic. I don't know a bit better or bigger must-win game for the Celtics. If they lose this game, I don't know if they'll even make the playoffs at this rate. Boston is 10-4 against the spread as a home favorite. And, sure, you look at the Orlando Magic. They just got off a big win against the Brooklyn Nets. But it took a career shooting night out of Aaron Gordon and the whole team. Aaron Gordon had almost 40 points. That will never happen again. At least not maybe next year. Maybe he does that once a year. The Celtics have to win. They have to win big at home. This team is reeling, and I think the Celtics come out with a vengeance, and I think they stifle the Magic's offense, which is already pretty lackluster, and they win big, probably by double-digit points tonight. If they lose outright, the Celtics will be on my no-bet list of the year, and there's a couple teams there, but they will join the Utah Jazz on that no-bet list. So we're locking in Celtics -8. And then the last spread of the day before we get into two parlays of the day, and then I'll break down the whole slate and what I think about it. We got the Bulls -3 versus the Pistons. A little bonus play. Normally only play three spreads and over-unders, but we're taking the Bulls -3. The Bulls, man, they are losing some heartbreakers. Sure, arguably this new starting lineup has been playing great. They just can't close out games. If the game ended after 3 quarters, like hockey, with only 3 periods, they'd be certainly fine. But they keep blowing leads in the fourth like they did against the Nuggets, did against the Spurs. They had big leads, and then they blew them. But when you look at it, the Bulls are on the road, where they are 13-4 against the spread. This is the Pistons team that has played better of late, but not a team that I'm necessarily scared of, or someone that should be frightening to other opponents. Sure, the Pistons have played better, but the Bulls have also played very well. They just can't close out games, but I think they can close it out again. I think they can close it out tonight against the Pistons. Just my overall hunch. So these are my plays of the day before we get into the parlay of the day. Bulls -3 versus the Pistons. The over in the Nets-Wizards game at 245.5. Wouldn't be surprised to see that go up. Knicks versus Sixers under 215.5. And then Celtics -8 versus Magic. Those are the 3 spreads and spreads and over-unders. Moving on to player props, we got Russell Westbrook over 46.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Nikola Jokic over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Luka Doncic over 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Lock them in. We're going to let it ride today. And then as for my parlay of the day, we're going to be combining some of the above picks because I think all of those should hit. We're going to go the over in the Nets-Wizards game, 245.5. The Celtics money line. I'm not counting on the Celtics to cover -8 in a parlay, but if they lose, man, I'll be very angry at them if they lose. If they are wearing their white uniforms, which I do not know which uniforms they play today, hammer them. Put in all your money on them. They're 7-0 again, 7-0 wearing their white uniforms, and I bet you they go back to the well tonight at home. And then we're gonna do so over in the Nets-Wizards, Celtics money line, and then Russell Westbrook PRAs. I think Russell Westbrook out of all 3 of those can hit that the easiest. He's got a high-scoring game. That is plus 364. I'd lock that in, and then long shot parlay of the day, which have been struggling lately. So we're just going to keep going and trying to hope for the best. We're taking Russell, Luka, and Jokic, all triple-doubles. All of our 3 guys that we're playing points, rebounds, and assists on, taking triple-doubles, plus 2,700 odds. Lock it in. I will release my NCAA basketball picks below. Not that I'm a basketball guru, but I made a bet to myself that I would bet on every single game, and we did pretty well yesterday. So I'll list those in the comments below later on today as the games start to get up, but I do like Illinois for anyone out there. Now let's get into the games of the day. We got Pacers versus Heat. The Pacers absolutely smacked the Heat last game. I would take the Heat again. I would take the Heat tonight. We took the Heat last time, and they absolutely just choked. We're taking Miami Heat -5. They should not come out and let the Pacers do what they did to them last time. They'll be playing inspired basketball, and I bet you they can get it done tonight and win and cover at home. Oklahoma City Thunder versus Rockets. I don't really know how I feel about the game line, but I do like the under 218. Both of these teams struggle to score points, and they're playing each other. I think the under is a good bet, under 218. Pelicans versus Nuggets. This is an interesting one. I like Nikola Jokic. Nuggets have been up and down lately, but they've been able to win some games. But then we got the Pelicans. This is a hard game to bet. I probably would stay away from this one all entirely. But if I had to, I would take the over just because it's a Pelicans game. But I think the Pelicans could cover and potentially win this one on the road. Although they aren't great on the road, but the Pelicans have been playing better lately, and the Nuggets have been up and down. They had to come back against the Chicago Bulls at home. So I think the Pelicans could have a chance of covering today. Orlando Magic versus Boston Celtics. I see we're up to 8.5, so I'd still take Celtics -8.5. But we're taking Celtics, and then I would bet on the under. I would bet on the Magic's team under. If I had to bet on something, Magic's team under. The over-under is 217.5. I could see a final score like 96 for the Magic, but then the Celtics drop like 125 on their head. Kind of like we saw yesterday with the Hornets versus Clippers. The Hornets just didn't even crack 100, but the Clippers dropped 125, something like that. So it would have still hit the over, but the Magic would have sunk up the bed. Chicago Bulls versus Pistons. We're in on Chicago Bulls -3. Over-under, I don't necessarily have an opinion on that. That's basically just throwing a random ring and just hoping for the best, flipping a coin. And I don't want to do that. Raptors versus Cleveland. I think Raptors win this one handily. Cleveland's played all right the last couple games, but they aren't allowed to win multiple games in a week. Absolutely not. Raptors are healthy, and the Raptors need this win. -7 on the road. Think they can get it done. Wizards versus Nets. Truthfully, I'd take the Wizards +8.5. That's a lot of points for a team that's playing better lately. I see the over-under's up to 246, so that's an interesting line, but I'm still taking the over. I'd take it up to 250 easily. I think these teams will absolutely combine for a ton of points. This might be the highest over-under we see on the year, so I would take the over there. Sixers versus Knicks. Sixers -1. If Simmons doesn't play, the Knicks are good. I think Simmons is 13-0 against the Knicks in his career, so if Simmons isn't there, the Knicks can win this game. Knicks have been up and down lately, but I think the Knicks can win this game. They're +1, but I would wait until Ben Simmons is declared in or out. 8:15 tip-off, so you might have to wait a while. But I like the under 215.5. Blazers versus Magic. Blazers versus Mavericks. Mavericks were 2.5-point favorites. Then they lost outright to the Blazers. I bet the Mavericks get this win back -2.5. Normally the teams flip-flop against the spread on back-to-back games. I'd bet the Mavericks get the win tonight. Over-under 231. I would never bet an under in a Portland Trailblazers game. They do not play an ounce of defense, so probably I'm looking at the under or the over in that game. And then the Clippers or the Suns versus the Lakers. Man, the Lakers are going to be brutal without LeBron and AD. Probably would bet Kuzma's props if I had to think about it. Kuzma or Schroeder or Montrezl Harrell. As I talked about in yesterday's video, Montrezl Harrell had a great game. Not a surprise there. But I would probably take the Suns to cover this. Probably at least win, because the Lakers will not be able to score too many points. The over-under 214, yeah, I could see that hitting. Both teams play good defense, even without LeBron and Anthony Davis. They'll play good defense, try to gruel this game out. But I would take the Suns potentially to cover. But I could see I feel like the public's going to be on the Suns covering big time. So I could see the Lakers covering just because it doesn't make any sense. Maybe even the Lakers win outright. Who knows? But I would lean towards the under if I had to bet in this game. So just as a quick recap of all my plays of the day. Longshot parlay of the day. Russell, Luka, Jokic, triple doubles. I like all 3 of those points, rebounds, and assists over. Then we got the parlay of the day over Nets Wizards, Celtics money line, Russell Westbrook PRAs, and then we're locking in the over in the Nets Wizards game. Bulls -3 versus the Pistons, Knicks Sixers under 215.5, and Celtics -8. Those are gonna be plays for today. Thank you guys again so much for the support lately. Let's see if we can hit 1,300 subscribers, maybe even 1,400 if you guys smash that like button and click the subscribe button. Really appreciate all the love so far. Shout out to all the people that aren't necessarily in this country, or I've seen people in Amsterdam, I've seen New Zealand, I've seen Portugal, and in the state, I've seen in Oregon. So shout out to all of you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you guys again for all the support. I'll be in the normal place tomorrow. I won't have my NCAA basketball video like I normally do, but I'll post my picks down below once I look at the slate. But this has been Austin. You guys are the absolute best. I will catch you guys again tomorrow morning for our picks for tomorrow. And make sure you join that Discord. Look at Reese's, look at Ronak's, look at Jokic's picks, all of them. A lot of parlays, a lot of winning going down in that Discord. I think we're over 260 members now, if I were to guess right. So shout out to you guys. This has been Austin. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram @CallingOurShot. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out, everyone.